The spaceship Odyssey cut through the endless black of space like a silver knife, bristling with the hopes and dreams of humanity. Captain Elena Torres stood at the helm, her fingers dancing across the control panel with practiced precision. In the dim glow of the dashboard lights, she could see the shimmering orb of Karath 7 taking shape on the view screen. Soft pastel colors swirled together, hinting at vibrant life below. Captain, her first officer, Marco Sanchez, called out from his seat. He leaned closer to his console, his brow furrowed with concentration. We're approaching the designated landing coordinates. Gravity is stable, and atmospheric conditions are ideal for initial contact. Thank you, Marco, Elena replied, feeling a rush of anticipation. Prepare for landing. Let's make history. The crew, a diverse mix of scientists, linguists, and engineers, gathered around, each lost in their own flickering emotions. Excitement, apprehension, curiosity. Elena felt a pang of responsibility. This mission wasn't just about exploration, but establishing a peaceful relationship with a truly alien civilization. Remember, she addressed her crew, her eyes scanning each face. We're here to share, not to impose. Let our stories be our greatest allies today. As the Odyssey touched down with a muted thud, Elena could barely contain her excitement. Marco, gather the team. It's time to disembark. Moments later, the airlock hissed open, revealing the alien landscape. It was unlike anything they had imagined. Towering trees with crystal bark glimmered under the sky, which shifted hues between gold and lavender. The air hummed with life, vibrant and pulsating, and a mild breeze carried sweet, unfamiliar scents. Wow, this is incredible, Marco breathed, stepping out into the soft, mossy ground. Elena glanced at him, her smile wide. You think so? This is just the start. As they ventured further from the ship, figures emerged in the distance. The Korathians were tall, their bodies almost ethereal, glowing faintly in the surrounding light. Their skin shimmered like the surface of a tranquil ocean, and their eyes shone with curiosity and apprehension. Stay close, Elena instructed as they approached. The Korathians seemed to communicate through shared vibrations, a soft humming that resonated in the air. One stepped forward, a female, her luminescent skin flickering in a shade of soothing blue. Welcome, Earth travelers, she said, her voice melodic yet hesitant. I am Trya, a scholar among my people. What brings you to Karath 7? Elena stepped forward, extending her hand in a gesture she hoped would be understood. I'm Captain Elena Torres, and this is my team. We have come to share our stories and learn from yours. Trya tilted her head, the pulsing light on her skin flashing a soft green. Stories? Like fables, legends, Marco interjected, stepping beside Elena. Tales that shaped our lives. Oh, Trya replied slowly, her brow furrowed in concentration. You seek to exchange memories. We have much to learn. Another Korathian, a tall male with deep violet tones running through his skin, joined them. My name is Sidak. You must understand, stories are powerful here. They can change the fate of our people. Exactly, Elena said, feeling a spark of connection. That's why we're here, to forge a bond through sharing our histories. Can we start now? Marco asked, his excitement bubbling over. I have hundreds of tales from Earth. Trya considered this, her expression thoughtful. We must prepare. We have rituals surrounding storytelling. It is not merely a sharing of words, but an emotional exchange. Elena nodded, her curiosity piqued. What kind of rituals? Gatherings with music, lights, and harmonized vibrations. Trya explained, gesturing toward the lush surroundings. We will choose a sacred place where the earth sings. As they walked deeper into the forest, the Korathians guided them with a gentle hum. They arrived at a clearing where the trees arched protectively above, forming a natural amphitheater. Bioluminescent flowers pulsed in rhythm with the sound of the breeze. This is where we celebrate storytelling, Trya announced. Here, you will feel our essence. The crew looked around, visibly awed. Elena stepped to the center of the glade, filled with renewed energy. Let's begin with stories from our past. Marco, do you want to share? Sure, he said, a grin spreading across his face. I'll start with a classic, The Tortoise and the Hare. Trya tilted her head, intrigued. You will share a fable about a race? Elena could see how interested Tria was and she smiled. It's more than just a race, it's about perseverance, humility, and teamwork. With enthusiasm, Marco dove into the tale, mimicking the characters and inviting the Korathians to feel each moment. The surroundings buzzed with energy, and Elena noted how the Korathians harmonized their soft vibrations with Marco's words, echoing his enthusiasm. "This is amusing," Tria said afterward, her skin shimmering as she laughed. "The hare seeks to prove superiority. Yet it is the slow and steady turtle who wins?" "Yes," Marco exclaimed, his eyes lighting up. "At its core, it's a reminder that everyone has value." "Next, allow me to share a story," Tria said, her voice gentle but firm as she stepped into the center of the glade. "It begins with a great blight that threatened our forests." As she told her tale, Elena watched the emotions flit across the faces of her crew and the Korathians. Tria spun a poignant narrative of unity and sacrifice, of how the Korathians came together to save their home. The stories began to intertwine, revealing parallels that resonated even across the vast void of their differences. When Tria finished, the surrounding flora glowed brighter, as if applauding. "Your story holds much strength," Elena said, her heart swelling. The day faded into a tapestry of shared narratives, laughter, and burgeoning friendships. Despite their varied backgrounds, they discovered a common thread, the inherent need for connection through storytelling. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Elena stood beside Tria, their shoulders brushing lightly. "I feel like we've just scratched the surface." "Indeed," Tria replied, her gaze steady and warm. "Tonight is merely the prologue to a grander tale yet to unfold." Elena nodded, her heart racing. This was only the beginning. Together, they were set to weave a narrative that would transcend the stars and bring their worlds closer, binding them with threads of understanding and compassion. Chapter 2, Stories of Old. The sunlight cascaded through the mottled leaves of Korath 7, casting a golden shimmer over the gathering place where Elena, Marco, and their Korathian hosts had shared their initial stories. The air buzzed with excitement as they prepared for another day of storytelling. "Good morning, everyone," Elena called, stepping into the clearing where her crew had gathered for breakfast. Marco was already at the table, enthusiastically picking at strange fruits that glowed softly. "Captain, you have to try this. It's delicious," Marco exclaimed, holding up a bright yellow fruit that pulsed gently. "It tastes like a mix between mango and honey." Elena laughed, taking a cautious bite. "You might be onto something there, Marco." "Not bad at all." As the team devoured their meal, Tria and Sidak joined them, their frames silhouetted against the sun. Tria's skin shifted hues, a soft lavender that matched her excitement. "We have prepared a special gathering for you today. We will share our most cherished stories. Stories that carry the weight of generations," Sidak added, his voice deep and resonant. "We hope they will inspire you as yours did us." "Let's get started," Marco said, his enthusiasm infectious. "Elena, would you like to lead?" "Absolutely," Elena replied, her heart racing with anticipation. "I think I'll share a story from Earth, one that has been a cornerstone of our culture, the tale of Prometheus." As she spoke, the Korathians listened intently, their expressions shifting with intrigue and wonder. "Prometheus was a titan who stole fire from the gods to give to humanity," she explained, pacing slightly as she felt the energy build. "It was an act of defiance, an effort to empower our kind." Tria's eyes widened. "But did he not face punishment for this action?" "Yes," Elena continued, her voice growing more animated. "He was chained and tortured for eternity. Yet it is said that he remained steadfast because he knew he had given humanity a gift. The fire ignited creativity, progress, and unity among us." After finishing, she glanced around, gauging their reactions. There was a palpable silence before Sidak chimed in. "You humans truly awe us. Your stories are layered with emotion, reflecting both light and darkness." "I feel like we connect on deeper levels," Tria said, her skin pulsing a soft blue. "Like threads in a tapestry." "Can we share a story now?" Marco asked, eager to keep the conversation flowing. "I have one that's a bit lighter. It's about a mischievous trickster. Here goes." As Marco spun his tale about cunning animals, the laughter that erupted from both crew and Korathians echoed throughout the glade. "So the fox outsmarted the bear, just like that?" Tria giggled, her laughter like a melody. "Exactly," Marco said, winking at her. "It just goes to show that intelligence often trumps brute strength. Plus, it's always fun to poke a bit of fun at our friends." Sidak leaned closer, intrigued. "What do you call this fox?" "We call him Br Fox," Marco replied, his eyes sparkling. He's a character from American folklore. Maybe we can create a character of our own, Tria suggested, her thoughts bubbling with excitement. A hero who learns from both human and Korathian tales. Great idea, Elena said, and the group rallied behind her, each sharing ideas on what this new character could be. What if the hero is a bridge between our worlds? Sidak proposed, his tone earnest, facilitating understanding and collaboration. I love that, Tria exclaimed. A figure who embodies the essence of both species. Marco grinned. Let's make this a collaborative story then. Each of us can contribute. Agreed, Elena added. We should weave in elements from both our cultures. The discussion flowed naturally, with everyone pitching in ideas. Their laughter mingled with the whispers of the wind, creating a symphony of camaraderie. Can I write down your ideas? Tria asked excitedly, pulling out a shimmering tablet that seemed to absorb the light around it. Of course. You'll make a great scribe, Marco quipped, nudging Elena playfully. As Tria began recording their thoughts, Elena and Marco exchanged glances, drawn together by the shared experience. They'd become more than just colleagues. They felt like an extended family, united by the weight of their narratives and the energy of their purpose. After some time, Sidak raised his hand, signaling for attention. While we create this new character, we must also honor our histories. I would like to share the tale of Astra, the Starborn. Elena and Marco leaned in, captivated. Astra was not merely a being of light, he explained. She descended to our world, bringing knowledge and understanding to the Korathians. Her journey was fraught with challenge, but she remained unwavering in her mission to unite our scattered tribes. Sounds like she was quite the inspiring figure, Marco said. What happened next? She gathered our tribes, helping us find common ground, Sidak replied, his voice imbued with deep respect. And through her sacrifice, we learned the values of compassion and kindness rather than conflict. What a powerful narrative, Elena remarked, moved by the depth of Sidak's tale. It reminds me of how we too often forget that strength lies in unity. Let's create our characters with Astra in mind, Marco proposed. Each of us has a role, just like the tribes. Tria's eyes lit up. A character with light and shade representing all our experiences. We all have stories of struggle and triumph. Let's blend those flavors. Each story includes conflict, Elena reflected. But it's how we address it that shapes our legacies. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over their gathering, the air hummed with creativity and collaboration. They were no longer simply representatives of their worlds. They were storytellers woven together through shared dreams and aspirations. The day wound down with laughter and excitement, but it was more than stories unfolding. They were building relationships, shaping their civilization's collective identity, and leaving a mark that transcended the stars. Exchanging glances filled with unspoken understanding and warmth, Elena and Tria shared a moment of quiet connection before Marco interrupted with another lighthearted quip about the day's stories. The laughter resumed, solidifying their bond while they continued to dream of the stories yet to come, a memories buffet waiting to be savored and shared. Chapter 3, Bonds and Discoveries. The dawn on Karath 7 was breathtaking, painting the sky in hues of burnt orange and soft pink. Elena stood outside the Odyssey, the cool morning breeze sweeping through her hair as she took in the ethereal beauty surrounding her. Today, she felt an eagerness that bubbled within her, a yearning to delve deeper into not just the Korathian culture but her growing connection with Tria. Hey, Captain! Marco called from behind her, his voice lighthearted. You're going to scare away all the starlight if you keep staring at it like that. Elena turned and laughed. What if I want to harness some of it for our stories? I think we need more than starlight, he replied, grinning. We have a lot to accomplish. Let's dive into our creative journey. I'm ready. Elena nodded, and together they made their way back to the gathering place. Tria and Sidak were already there, discussing their previous stories with bubbling excitement. Morning, everyone. Marco called as they approached. What's the plan for today? Tria's skin shimmered bright green as she looked up. We discussed adding more elements to our character. Sidak and I have been brainstorming different challenges it might face while uniting our worlds. Nice, Elena said, feeling her heart race. I can't wait to hear what you've come up with. Sidak gestured for everyone to sit. Our hero must encounter fear and misunderstanding between both species. This conflict will create growth. A test of character. Marco chimed in, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. What if the hero has to save someone from each side? That would truly unite not just the characters but also our people. That's brilliant, Tria said, her voice bubbling with excitement. It gives them common ground to build upon. Exactly. Elena added. Maybe there are misunderstandings that lead to a conflict. The hero can step in before it escalates. Respectful nods circled the group and energy shifted as brainstorming took shape. The conversation flowed naturally, filled with joking banter and passionate exchanges. What if they have interactions that force them to face their biases? Sidak suggested, leaning forward. Our hero could reveal these issues through the challenges they meet. I like where this is going, Marco said, propping his feet up casually. It can mirror our own experiences, right? What have we learned so far? Such as? Elena prompted, curious. Learning from each other's stories has shown us that we're more alike than different. We've shared laughter and fears even over a single meal. Marco grinned, his eyes darting between Trya and Sidak. I agree, Trya said, her shimmering skin glowing softly. Every moment spent together is teaching us something new. Our stories are beginning to overlap in unexpected, wonderful ways. Elena could see how much the collaboration was impacting them all. Then let's utilize that in our characters' journey. Through our shared stories, they can discover their own strengths and weaknesses. Perhaps they could even stumble into each other's worlds unexpectedly, Trya mused. Let's say the hero gets lost and meets someone who looks different but ultimately becomes an ally. Yes, Marco exclaimed. A plot twist that could redefine their perceptions. It could create moments of hilarity and understanding. As they delved deeper into character creation, Elena couldn't help but notice how naturally everyone was bouncing ideas off each other. Her bond with Trya was growing more palpable, filled with unspoken emotions that lingered in the air between them. Okay, she said, glancing at Trya, we've created a solid backstory for our character. What about their abilities? What traits do they inherit from both cultures? Curiosity would be a strong trait, Trya said thoughtfully, driven to explore and understand differences. It could propel them into risky situations but also drive growth. Great point, Sidak replied, nodding. It's this very curiosity that encourages others to engage in dialogue. Perhaps the character learns how to harness skills from both cultures to solve problems. I love it, Elena declared, feeling excitement bubbling within her. We need to write this down before we forget ideas. Let me get my tablet, Trya said, her face lighting up. She dashed to grab it while Marco continued spouting ideas. What if our character possesses a unique skill that is a fusion of our abilities? He suggested. Strength from yours and wisdom from ours? Yes, Trya exclaimed as she returned with the tablet. They can inspire collaboration through their skills. As they continued to brainstorm, Elena felt that familiar warmth growing with Trya. The little glances they exchanged, the unspoken understanding, it all felt electric. Let's hold off on the details for now, Elena suggested, pulling her thoughts back to the group. What about the setting? Where do you envision these challenges taking place? Sidak leaned back thoughtfully. Perhaps at the border between our lands? A place where paths cross but misunderstandings thrive. Or an ancient landmark that represents both our cultures, Marco added. A physical embodiment of the connection. Yes, a confluence. That location has the power to unite. Trya's excitement echoed with energy. Okay, this is coming together beautifully, Elena said, a smile spreading across her face. Let's keep fleshing it out, but first, do you guys want to take a break? I could use some fresh air after all this brainstorming. I'll join, Marco replied, pushing off his seat. Besides, I need a break from all this genius. With laughter, they ventured outside, the lush surroundings embracing them. Birds with vibrant feathers flitted through the trees, their songs a harmonious backdrop. Can you feel how alive this planet is? Trya said, glancing up at the canopy above. Absolutely, Elena replied, breathing in the earthy scents mingling with sweet floral notes. It's as if the environment encourages creativity. Marco nodded. Just think of what lies beyond our stories. If we can create a character that embodies us, what else can we do? We can create connections, Trya said, allowing the words to drift softly in the breeze. This story can inspire both of our ideas and perspectives. Elena found herself increasingly drawn to Trya. The warmth of their shared journey enveloped her, reminiscent of newfound friendship blossoming into something deeper. We should reconvene this evening, Sidak said, breaking her reverie. The stars will provide the perfect setting for the next phase of our story. Agreed, Marco said, his energy infectious. I can't wait to see what else we can create. Elena nodded, her heart racing with excitement for what lay ahead. At that moment, she realized how much they had accomplished in such a short time. They weren't just telling stories. They were crafting a narrative of unity that might resonate across galaxies. As the sun dipped lower, casting a warm glow on their gathering, Elena exchanged a knowing glance with Trya. Today was more than just collaboration. It was an awakening, where every laugh and shared experience became part of a beautiful, intricate tapestry. Together, they were forging connections that would resonate far beyond the bounds of their individual worlds. Chapter 4, Trials and Triumphs. The evening sky above Karath 7 sparkled with a kaleidoscope of colors. As the stars began to twinkle, Elena and her crew gathered once more in the serene glade they had come to cherish. The atmosphere was electric with creativity as they prepared to weave the next threads of their collaborative story. "Tonight feels special," Marco said, pacing excitedly. "I can almost feel the energy pulsing through the air." Elena nodded, her anticipation bubbling over. "It's like we are on the brink of something extraordinary. Let's solidify our character's journey." Trya arrived, her vibrant skin glowing like the moon. "Are you all ready to delve deeper?" "Absolutely," Marco replied, his hands clasped together. "Let's dive right in. What's our next challenge for the character?" "Given the themes we've discussed, I think we should explore the difficulties of misunderstanding," Trya suggested, her eyes bright. "This character can face moments where their intentions are misinterpreted. What if they stumble upon a cultural event that they unknowingly disrupt?" Sidak added, stepping forward. "This could lead to tension between the two factions." "Great idea," Elena responded. "They try to help, but their lack of knowledge creates chaos. This opens the door to learning opportunities about each other's customs." "Right?" Marco said, slapping his knees excitedly. "They could inadvertently ruin the festival amidst their good intentions." "Which leads to conflict," Trya noted. "But instead of resorting to anger, the community initiates a dialogue. Perhaps they realize that the character is not their enemy but someone who genuinely wants to help. That creates a great turning point," Elena exclaimed. "But how does our character learn to navigate these interactions?" "They need a mentor figure from both cultures," Sidak stated. "Someone wise who can guide them through the complexity of both worlds." "A dual mentor for a dual world," Marco chimed in. "What if one is a human and the other a Korathian?" "I love that idea," Trya said, her expression glowing. "It shows the merging of perspectives." They spent the next hours shaping this dual mentorship dynamic, brainstorming the personalities and traits of both mentors. Finally, Marco leaned back, a contented smile on his face. "I'm loving where this is going, but we need more substance. How do these mentors teach resilience without diminishing our hero spirit?" Elena pondered for a moment. "Maybe they can encourage adaptability by presenting challenges that require unconventional problem-solving. Instead of just toughening the character up, they could offer interactive lessons that showcase cultural strengths. Perhaps one mentor teaches through art and storytelling while the other employs practical lessons," Trya suggested. "Making it multifaceted." "Yes," Marco exclaimed, his enthusiasm contagious. "Turning learning into an adventure rather than a chore can bring some levity and fun." Sidak nodded. "Exactly. We want our character to grow while still feeling like themselves. Balancing strengths and weaknesses is key." With ideas flowing freely, Elena suddenly paused, sensing a shift in the energy around them. "What if we showcase the vulnerability of our hero too?" she proposed. They could doubt their ability to bridge the gaps between two worlds, truly feeling lost at moments. "Great idea," Trya said, her eyes wide. "This adds depth. Showing that even champions feel inadequate is important." "Agreed," Marco said, tapping his chin. "Challenges should feel real, like they grow on a personal level alongside the larger themes." As they kept discussing, the stars overhead shimmered like candles in the night sky, casting a soft glow on their gathering. Elena felt a sense of camaraderie that deepened with each shared thought, and she knew they were creating something meaningful. "Let's take a break," Sidak suggested, sensing the need to breathe. "We've covered a lot." "Good call," Marco replied. "How about some refreshments?" "Trya, do you have anything interesting prepared?" "Of course." Trya beamed. "Follow me. I have a few surprises from Karath 7 to share." She led them through the vibrant foliage, weaving her way through the soft underbrush until they arrived at a clearing adorned with glowing fruits dangling from hanging plants. "Welcome to the fruit grove," Trya announced, her spirit infectious. "Please, help yourselves." The crew marveled at the unusual fruits, some pulsed with light, others had iridescent skins. Elena picked one that looked reminiscent of a star, taking a cautious bite. Sweetness exploded in her mouth, blending flavors she couldn't quite describe. "This is fantastic," Marco exclaimed, his cheeks SD with fruit. "Can these be on the menu back home?" "Absolutely not," Elena shot back with a smile. "We want to keep these a secret." They continued munching on fruits while engaging in playful banter, slowly discovering more about one another's lives and quirks. Marco regaled the group with stories of pranks he had pulled during training, everyone erupting in laughter as he performed exaggerated reenactments. "Hold on, are you saying you impersonated the commander?" Sidak asked, laughing so hard his form flickered. "Only for a moment," Marco retorted with a grin. "It was a one-time thing, well, 2 times maybe. 2 times too many." Elena teased, shaking her head. "I think you're lucky he didn't station you on a far-off rock for your trouble." "Only until he decided to enlighten me," Marco said cheerfully. "Then they would never want me gone." As they exchanged stories, the relaxed atmosphere deepened their connections, dissolving the barriers that once existed between them. Each tale carried with it a heartbeat, a thread from one life to another. Returning to the gathering spot, Marco suddenly looked serious. "We should try to define a climactic moment for our character, something that tests everything they've learned so far." Traya nodded thoughtfully. "A moment where failure appears imminent, leading to self-doubt, only for them to overcome challenges with the lessons from their mentors. What if during a crucial moment one of the mentors gets hurt?" Elena suggested, her brow furrowing in concern. "That could shake up everything they've learned." "That's brilliant," Sidak said. "It adds emotional weight. The character would have to confront their fears, potentially risking their own safety to save the mentor, showing they've truly transformed." "All of these elements create stakes," Marco said, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. "What happens afterward? Can there be redemption tied to the initial misunderstanding?" In resolving the chaos, both factions could discover the true meaning of unity through the character's actions, Traya explained, her eyes shimmering. "Reparations made, but not by force, showing growth on all sides." "Yes," Elena said, her heart racing at the prospect. "It reinforces the takeaway that through trials and vulnerability, mutual respect can flourish." As the sky sunk into deeper shades of indigo, the group solidified the foundation of their characters and plot, feeling a collective sense of accomplishment. It was not just a story they were crafting, it was a reflection of their own experiences, values, and dreams. In those precious moments under the starlit sky, bonds deepened. The once isolated individuals, each distinct but united in purpose, embraced their growing connection. They were partners in creativity, bridging diversity through collaboration, weaving a narrative that transcended their worlds. As laughter echoed through the glade, Elena felt the warmth of not just friendship but an emerging love that danced gently between her and Traya. Each moment of shared laughter and support was a step closer to building a legacy that would reverberate long after their time on Karath 7 came to an end. Chapter 5, A New Dawn. The sunrise over Karath 7 was a mesmerizing sight. Shades of gold and pink illuminated the sky as Elena stood on the deck of the Odyssey, her heart racing in anticipation. Today was the day they would unveil their collaborative story to both their crew and the Korathians. It was a significant moment, a culmination of their shared creativity and hard work. "Good morning, Captain," Marco called as he bounded up the ramp, a wide smile plastered across his face. "Are you ready for this?" "More than ready," Elena replied, her excitement contagious. "I can't wait to see their reactions to our story." As they reunited with Traya and Sidak at the gathering spot, it was evident that the Korathians were just as eager. Traya's skin shimmered in hypnotic hues, each color reflecting her anticipation, while Sidak stood tall, radiating calm authority. "Today we share the narrative we created together," Traya said, her voice melodic. "It is a symbol of our united efforts." Marco beamed at Traya. "I think we've crafted something genuinely special. Let's not waste any more time." Elena nodded, feeling the energy in the air pulsate around them. "Let's begin then. It's time for our hero to take the stage." As they settled into a semicircle, Elena took a deep breath, feeling grateful for the opportunity to share this moment. Once upon a time, in a land where two species coexisted yet remained worlds apart, there lived a curious hero, she began. Marco jumped in seamlessly, adding, "Their name was Kale, a being born of both Earth and Korathian heritage, who found themselves torn between two worlds." At that point, Traya narrated Kale's encounter with the mentors. Kale first met Asher, a wise human who taught them about bravery through the power of art and expression, and Leora, a gentle Korathian who showed them the significance of community. The synchronicity of their storytelling amazed Elena. Everyone was enraptured, even the trees seemed to listen. And so, Kale ventured forth to experience both worlds, Marco continued, heightening the tension. But trouble brewed at the annual festival, a celebration both species looked forward to. Tria's voice intensified as she described the chaos. With good intentions, Kale unknowingly disrupted the preparations, causing misunderstandings that echoed throughout the community. As she spoke, Elena glanced at Marco, who was leaning forward, enraptured by their performance. He caught her eye and smiled, the connection deepening in that shared moment. Desperate to fix the mess, Marco continued. Kale remembered the lessons learned from both mentors and sought out help from the very communities they had upset. The weight of anticipation settled over them. Elena felt her heart racing as she presented the pivotal scene. But even as Kale tried to mend friendships, one mentor fell ill, shaking their confidence. Would they rise to the occasion or falter under the pressure? The captivated Korathians murmured amongst themselves, their eyes widening. Tria and Sidak exchanged glances, clearly invested in the unfolding narrative. With fervor, Marco expanded on the challenge Kale faced. It was during the night of uncertainty that Kale confronted their greatest fear, the fear of not being enough, the fear of being rejected. Tria's voice interwove seamlessly, adding, but in a moment of clarity, Kale remembered the tribe's teachings and called forth both communities to action. It was through unity that they overcame the odds, Elena declared, her pulse quickening, and Kale found the strength within, learning that being different didn't mean being alone. The narrative reached its crescendo and silence enveloped the crowd as they processed the climax. Finally, Sidak spoke up, "What a journey." Kale reflects the very challenges our own societies face. This wisdom is invaluable. Absolutely, Elena replied, beaming. And it's a testament to how partnerships can navigate obstacles. Before the celebratory conclusion, allow us to reveal how the two communities came together for the festival, Marco chimed in. There was laughter, shared traditions, and the blending of cultures. Celebration with light, color, and music, Tria added, her skin pulsating vibrantly. Kale's journey signifies our shared path now and how it can lead us forward. The atmosphere filled with energy, excitement radiating from every corner. A Korathian approached, their shimmering form glistening in the morning sun. Your story evokes emotion. It resonates deeply with our struggles and dreams. Thank you. Elena replied, her heart soaring. To know it struck a chord means everything to us. As the atmosphere shifted to one of celebration, Marco looked at Elena and Tria. Shall we bring everything together, making it official? This story deserves a celebration. Let's do it. Tria said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. We'll blend our music and traditions, just like our narrative. Elena felt a thrill course through her. Yes, a real festivity to commemorate our collaboration. The next few hours became a whirlwind of creativity as everyone pitched in. From crafting decorations with luminescent flowers to preparing native dishes that beautifully represented both cultures. Marco was at the forefront, trying his hand at Korathian cooking alongside Tria, who could barely contain her laughter as Marco fumbled his way through the preparations. You're supposed to chop, not crush, she teased, expertly slicing the vibrant ingredients while he smiled sheepishly. Oh, come on. It adds character, Marco shot back, a grin spreading across his face. As evening approached, the gathering grew animated. They set up a luminous archway to welcome guests from both sides. Elena stood back for a moment, taking in the colorful scenes, the merging of Earth ingenuity and Korathian beauty. Look at this, she exclaimed, arms wide, feeling a wave of joy. We did this together. It's incredible to witness, Sidak commented, his voice reassuring. This will mark a new chapter for our people. As night fell, the festivities began. Music filled the air, a blend of Earth rhythms and Korathian melodies that wrapped everyone in an embrace of sound. Laughter echoed under the stars as they danced, a celebration of unity and new beginnings. Elena felt a rush of gratitude as she smiled at Marco and Tria. We've built something remarkable, haven't we? Yes, we have, Marco replied, catching her gaze. Not just a story, but connections that will last a lifetime. Before Elena could respond, Tria stepped in, her voice imbued with warmth. Together, we have created a fabric of stories that will carry forward and unite generations. Underneath the vibrant stars, among laughter and music, Elena and Tria exchanged glances filled with unspoken feelings. The festival forged a bond beyond mere interaction. It felt alive, infused with emotions that seemed to transcend time and space. As the night wore on, moving from story to laughter to friendship, Elena knew they had opened a door to endless possibilities. They were no longer representatives of distant worlds. They were family, intertwined through shared dreams. ready to conquer whatever awaited them in the universe beyond.